there, YouTube. So we got a 99 Jeep Grand Cherokee here. Already kind of started on the whole process, but we're getting no start. And it'll just sit here and just kind of crank and crank and crank. And then I'm gonna grab the key here really quick. Stick it in the ignition. Oh, come on. It's supposed to show code. Well, we just want to show the code. Anyway, I think I have a video on my phone. So I got the 4.7. So a lot of people say, or from what I've read, that the p0320 is something to do with the distributor, but this is not a distributor engine. It's actually a coil style ignition. So we don't have a distributor. So the next best thing would probably be crank or cam sensor. So I was going to start with the cam sensor since this is the most accessible. It may not look like it from up top here. This is really on the left side of the, or sorry, the right side of the engine, on kind of underneath the oil fill tube in the back here, and it's literally right behind the battery. Some people say taking out the battery and the fuse blocks and the tray and everything else is like that is easier. I'd rather go underneath the vehicle, and you can literally get access to it right there. It is a 10 mil. I just used a really long extension and a wobbly for the end of that, and you can get right to the sensor. One bolt and then one plug. You literally kind of twist it back and forth. It has a little O-ring that you have to overcome and then pull it out. And then it'll look something similar to this. Now this one has a lot of buildup on the sensor here, and I'm thinking that might possibly be part of the issue. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this is what your cam sensor is going to look like. So then go ahead and grab the new one and slap it in. You should be good to go. Alright, so this is the old and the new. Definitely looks a lot cleaner. Don't know if it's going to make a difference, but we're going to give it the old college try. I don't know if you've seen any of that, but now you can kind of see the new sensors in there. Literally just put the one bolt in, then the plug. I did forget that little wire loom there, but I'll go back and take that. So I'm going to go inside and see if it'll start up. Misfire. P0320 and done. All right, well, at least I got it to fire. I don't think that's the issue. So 0320, that's still that same code with the crank sensor, so, or the crank or cam. I just did the cam, so now we're gonna go try the crank sensor and see if that works. I got a new one right here. Looks fairly similar to the cam sensor that we just pulled out of the front of the engine. Similar plug. Biggest thing you can kind of tell is the overall length of the magnet, or the sensor here, from the O-ring, and then the bracket. It's kind of clocked at, say, 1, 2 o'clock from the plug, and the cam sensor was straight up dead noon. So we're gonna go ahead and climb back under the vehicle and see if we can get that replaced. Alrighty, so I am under the Jeep and we are looking at taking out this starter now. I'm on the passenger side, just behind the front axle. And then our sensor is going to be up there somewhere. So here we go. Right. Maybe now. I can't see, but there is the starter. It's starting to come out. It's a little cockeyed in there, but yeah, I'm gonna be wiggling it out of the way. And the battery has been disconnected too. Our sensor that we're looking for. We got the starter kind of pushed down out of the way. I do have this Jeep sitting up on jack stands, so it allows me to droop the front suspension to kind of sneak it out of the way around that control arm. So all that blue stuff is actually a coolant leak, I do believe, from the block heater. This is a Overland or Upcountry, I think. Yeah, Upcountry. So it has like a little bit of like suspension lift or something like that. Full skid plates, tow hooks, and a block heater, so you can run it up in the upper territories and stuff like that where it's cold. So this is our sensor. I do believe that is a 15. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get that pulled out of here really quick and swapped out. Let's try a 13. Alright, well I do apologize, that is actually a 13. Alright, so this is our old crank sensor. To be honest, everything looks fine. The connection was actually very weak. I don't think it was actually clicked in all the way. I literally just kind of wiggled on the end of the plug-in and it kind of separated itself without having to apply pressure on the release button or the release pin. So I'm not entirely sure if it was actually connected all the way. So this still might be a good sensor. As for looks, it looks like it was replaced fairly recent. You know, in comparison to this one, it looks still really clean. You can't really see anything as far as like lettering or numbering at the end of the sensor like this one. So, I mean, it does look a little dirty, but looks exactly the same. So, only different is the color of the O-ring. So, let's go ahead and grab our new one here. We're gonna go back underneath this Jeep really quick and see if we can get this put in. There we go, and we're running again. It started, it runs, it idles like it's supposed to, and I did the trick. Just a simple crank positioning sensor and a cam sensor. Plus also too, just have a little bit of peace of mind knowing that those sensors have been replaced. We can go back in here really quick. No lights of any kind. Oop. There we go. No lights of any kind, and or warning lights or anything like that up on the display. Everything should be good. The clock's a little off, but that's because we disconnected the battery. So there we go. That's how we replace and diagnose and fix p0320. Thanks for watching.